Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 130. I'm Ryan. I'm joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin, and tonight we've got special guests for you. Ray Chase is back with us because he loves Star Wars, and you've guessed it, we're talking about some more Star Wars stuff. Tyler, though, is not back with us because Tyler is sick tonight, and we miss him. He was going to be on. Yeah, we wish he was here. Tyler, get well, buddy, because I've got to meet you next week on Batu. So get well. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not, but I'm meeting him on Batu next week. I'm not telling you when next week, but sometime next week. So come
Monday,
find us.
Right?
No.
I know.
Yes, Monday. Yeah. But we do have somebody else sitting in with us for tonight. You may know her. You may not. I don't know. It's my wife, Jennifer. Say hello, Jennifer.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. That would be $200.
How about just some playoff tickets?
Our guests pay us?
Yeah, our guests pay us. That's how it
Wow.
works. Ray's been sending me checks every time he's been on.
I have been.
Yeah.
thought that was the thing.
Huh.
You lied to me?
You know, this is a little podcast. You know, some podcasts do charge their guests. Isn't that crazy?
Charge their guests.
To be on their show.
That doesn't make sense.
Because they're like, well, I'm promoting your stuff, so you pay me to come on my show. We don't do that on I Am Geek.
That's not usually how we do it, because we no.
We don't charge our guests.
We don't do it that way.
No, not at all. But tonight, it's come to an end. The 8 episodes, way too short, but it's come to an end.
I thought this was 130.
No, The Mandalorian.
Oh,
we're not ending the podcast.
gosh.
No. You guys are in contracts for the next 50 years.
I was getting excited.
Yes, actually, Chris, that's the news. Ray Chase is joining us full time. And
So
we're sorry.
Okay, thank goodness.
No.
I paid him so much, he's kicking you off.
It's cool, though, because Chris is usually recording from his bed, laying in his bed, a little behind-the-scenes stuff. But now he has his oown nook at his house.
He's got a studio.
Yeah, it's my Nook studio. Studio Nook. My it's full of cats somehow. But my wife is doing her own thing, doing her own freelance business now, and converted it was her art room into a better art room.
Yeah.
And her little office that she used for her work is now my little office to use for the podcast. It's not really work. It's a podcast.
It's fun.
It's a serious business.
It's a serious business. This is a serious space. It's it's got Spider-Man bobbleheads. It's serious.
It's got a picture of me, so
Got a picture of Ryan.
Wow.
I'm obligated in our contract with the podcast to have a picture of him.
So now
See, that's why I pay, so I don't have to have a picture.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
he does have a tattoo, though, somewhere on him of my face.
Only my doctor knows.
Katrin, we got to get you a nook next.
I know. I really need a nook. I'm trying to figure it out.
I do like the floral picture that you always.
I know. I'm in my
Yeah.
dining room. Is where I record. So I have to kick everybody out and have to go to their rooms. So
I think
actually, it's so late, everybody's asleep. So
I think you should record in the VIP kids closet.
I know. I thought about doing that. I did it one time, and they made fun of me pretty bad. So I didn't. Don't do it.
Wow.
Who made fun of you? No.
Well, it looked. Yeah. It has to be fun looking. So no, it's hard to do it up there because it's right beside my son's room. So
Yeah.
I don't want to. This is the safe place.
The same place. Oh, I am flying to Batu next week. If you don't know what Batu is, that's Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So there'll be a trip report coming on that
Oh,
later
Super
on.
jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Just come with me. Just come on down.
Okay.
there you go.
Well, there we go.
I'm coming. It's settled.
Easy.
That's settled.
Yeah.
All right.
I was just waiting for the invite.
Well, now you got it. So come on down.
Awesome. My kids would be so mad if I did. Because we haven't gone yet. So yeah, they keep asking like when we're gonna go. So if I was like, hey, good news, I'm going next week with Ryan, they'd be like never talking to me again.
No, you just
But
gotta.
we have school, Dad.
Yeah,
Oh well.
you just gotta spin it right. I'm going to go check it out for you guys to make sure
It's worth
it's
doing.
worth doing.
I have to make sure it's safe for you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go and
I'm the father.
fly the Falcon and fight the First Order, and I'll report back to you.
Yeah, and then just say if they say but just say I have spoken, and then just walk away.
That is the end of it.
Yeah,
This is the way. This is the way.
this is the way. All right, so everybody's finished The Mandalorian
Mhm.
season 1. I wanted more, but only 8 episodes. So overall, what did you guys like? Give me your overall thoughts. What do you guys think?
It's great.
Well, that's it for tonight,
Yeah.
folks.
There you have it.
No, I thought it was really good. Really well done. It felt like watching Star Wars, but not too off the wall, and also not really too much of the same story we already know. So it was refreshing and enjoyable to watch. We didn't know what to expect, except that we heard it was going to be like a Western, but Star Wars, and that's what it was. So it was really enjoyable, and can't wait for more.
Ditto.
Oh,
No, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I would venture to say it's probably my favorite Star Wars thing, like ever, almost.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of Star Wars, but this one, I don't know. It was like a space western type thing. I saw someone online compare it to Firefly, which I think is a good comparison.
Yeah.
And I love Firefly. I love that kind of stuff. I love the humor in it, and because it had a nice mixture of humor and seriousness, and yeah, it felt like a Star Wars, but it felt newer and kind of refreshed. I liked it. I like the droid. I always like the droids in Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're always great.
Yeah.
real quick, you said something about the humor. I feel like the humor was, like you said, is really well balanced, unlike some of the newer trilogy where I feel like it was just forced jokes that we've got to hear these jokes. It's really funny, and they were just cheesy jokes, where it just felt natural and it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Where and some of the things were funny in the newer movies, but it still just is like, come on, a joke every time C-3PO talks. Come on.
What he's there for?
He's a wacky protocol droid.
Yeah.
It's not programmed for Sith talk, but he's programmed for humor.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's true.
The tickle
true.
your funny bone.
Yeah.
So, Ray, did you like it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I felt like it was familiar, and it happens in a familiar setting, in a familiar world, and but without the baggage of having to be a prequel where it has story elements that aren't going to coincide with another bit of story that was told previously. It didn't have any of that. All you knew is that it was happening, 5 years or so after Return of the Jedi, and the Empire is mostly gone or what have you, and they could just kind of go with that, and there was no handcuffs on them in terms of, oh, well, this has to fit in with the bigger story or whatnot. So it was great living in that world, but telling a bit of a different story that we haven't seen before. And I love this period in Star Wars, and maybe it's because we all grew up with the middle trilogy, but the classic stormtroopers are my favorite stormtroopers, and the Empire and the dirtiness and the grittiness of the galaxy and all that. I love that period, so I'm very happy that it's happening within this period. But it's still at the same time, even in flashbacks and stuff, you got battle droids, you got connections to events that came before, and bits of maybe foreshadowing of what's going to come after in terms of the main big movie trilogy. But it feels like it's its own thing, and I hope it can go many seasons, and it makes me excited for the other series that they're planning on Disney Plus. for what they can do with 8 episodes and hopefully beyond, and have a little bit of a longer format, be able to plan, wink, wink, plan what you're going to do, and be able to sort of, kind of let it breathe and let it kind of live on its own rather than having to edit and rush and cut and whatever when you have to deal with a movie, any kind of movie, so.
And I also liked that it was just 8 episodes.
Yeah.
I kind of like the shorter seasons, like they've been doing on Netflix and Hulu and stuff because they're not throwing in filler. A lot of stuff is like, oh, it's 24 episodes long, and a lot of episodes are like filler episodes and flashback episodes. And
I just wanted 10. I just wanted 10 episodes.
Just wanted 10.
Like two more. Just 2 more. All I wanted. It had to be 24. Just 2 more.
So a whole episode of them like flashing back. Remember when I went to that one planet? Yeah, I remember that. That was a close shave. And then they show the scene for like 10 minutes, and then they come back. Want to do that?
It's a highlight episode.
Yeah.
It could have been just. It could have been an episode of just the Mandalorian and the child just flying in the ship the whole episode. I'd watch it. Like him changing his diaper, Oh, you got a full load? I'd be like, oh, that's just like my life every day. I can really relate to this.
Force
Man, what if he taught him how to talk and he didn't talk like Yoda?
I had thought of that.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I wondered if that could possibly end up happening when he does start to speak. Although it's weird because he's 50, so it's like I was trying to do it like based on like Yoda. I'm like, all right, so he's 900, so it was like every 50 Yoda years, the equivalent of like 10 human years. So I don't know. I mean, but he's like a baby, so he's not even 10 years old. He's like 3 years old. So I don't know. It's I don't know. Who knows what their science is beyond. But I had the same thought, Kadrian. I was like, I wonder if he might just talk like normal English, like normal sentences. That'd be kind of strange and new,
Yeah. Jennifer, oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
What? No, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say I have seen fan art where they've drawn Baby Yoda with Mandalorian armor on.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And like someone actually made a lightsaber, like a little Baby Yoda lightsaber with the symbol of like that the Mandalorian gets at the end.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
I'll have to get one of those.
Right, get to work.
I told him he can't because his little holder is full.
No, it's full
of lightsabers. There's no more
that's
space.
The old lightsabers there. All the new lightsabers get their own place.
Oh, okay.
In the room of Ryan.
Room of holdings.
Yeah, the room of holdings. So Jennifer, so you like Star Wars, but you're not like a huge Star Wars fan like me. And I made you watch the show. So what did you think?
Well, I think I'm with Chris that it's my favorite Star Wars anything so far. And I was pleasantly surprised because I don't like read ahead and plan. I just watch the show, and when it's over, it's over. So I actually thought when they left us on a cliffhanger episode 7 that was the finale. So I thought I was going to have to wait until next fall to find out what happened to, I don't call him Baby Yoda. I call him Yiddle. That's my name for him because I think Yoda and Yaddle made a Yiddle.
Yaddle made a Yiddle.
So I called him that since the very first episode. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and I wish that the next 8 were coming out sooner. I don't have to wait.
Yeah.
But
man, if they didn't with episode 7, you know how much like uproar there would be. You're gonna wait till next fall to find out what happened to Baby Yoda.
It's like laying in the sand.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that's what they did to us. So
I was like, there's another one. You want to watch the season finale? She's like, what?
I was so excited.
What?
Oh.
What? No. Oh, wait, that's a different show.
What? No, that's another Disney Plus show. Well, I guess I'll tell you what I thought.
Brian, what did you think about it?
Thanks
Yes,
for
Ryan,
asking.
please tell us.
Oh, I hated it. No, no, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Again, I'm sort of with Chris right now. this is one of my favorite Star Wars things. I think if they didn't do the sequel trilogy, I would probably still be like old school original trilogy. But since the sequels have sort of put a bad taste in some people's mouths, this was sort of like a fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me love it even more. And I thought, this is a spoiler, and this is a spoiler episode. So if we've gotten this far and you haven't figured that out, there's going to be spoilers.
Sorry.
Up until, I thought, before episode 8, that was like they have made some of the best Star Wars, and a lightsaber has not even been a part of it. But then, of course, in episode 8, at the very end scene, oh look, it's a saber.
Right. Yeah.
So there was one at the very end, but the whole thing, there's no lightsabers. They don't even mention Jedi really. It's just sort of like these other people that we fought in the past, like the Mandalorians talk about. This mystic sorcerers, yeah. So they don't even mention like Jedis, which is funny because this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So you think the mention of Luke, and Vader,
he's probably pretty popular in the universe, right?
Would still be on people's minds and be spread around, but they're sort of acting like nobody really knows what the Jedi are or what these Force users are. It's just magic hands, and so that was sort of
do the magic.
Yeah, do the magic hands. So that was sort of interesting.
It was, but also too, it also makes it seem like maybe, because I feel like with the prequels and so forth, because we went back to Tatooine so many bloody times and made the galaxy feel so small. Now they're like on new planets. They're not even half the time even telling you what planet they're on. The only one I think I even know of now is Navarro, because they've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah.
But maybe
it's a great place to
galaxy
live.
being so big, and maybe if they're on the outer rim or wherever, maybe the stories of Luke and whatnot just hasn't really reached them. Because if you think about like in episode 4, when like Han's talking about the Force, he refers to it as like hokey religions and ancient weapons, and it's like, really? Because the Jedi were in their prime like 18 years ago. But, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they kept to themselves and they were very, very monk-like and nobody really knew who they were or anything.
I thought at least Cara Dune would be like, oh yeah, I've heard about that or seen that before because I was in the Battle of Endor.
And she is from Alderaan.
Yeah, and she is from Alderaan. So you think like that character would be like, oh, I know what Baby Yoda or the child is doing, but not even her.
The only thing I could think of is it's kind of like, like the Old West. Everything is so spaced apart that stuff just becomes kind of myth or legend because it's so wide. No one really sees any of this happen.
Right.
There's no news channel or internet or it's word of mouth, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just kind of hear stories passed along.
Holograms.
Holograms, that's true.
Because I would say she would probably be more familiar with the name like General Calrissian or General Solo, because Luke wasn't really. I guess he was a commander in the Empire, but in Jedi, and it seemed like he even had a rank. He was just like, I'm just hanging out with you guys, and I got to go face my father. And it wasn't like General Skywalker, come back or anything like that. It was, So I don't know. Maybe he had a code name.
Maybe so. But I loved it, and it's one of my, it's one of those shows that I would go back right now and watch all 8 episodes again.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say about stuff, especially nowadays because there's so much stuff out there. But I would. Now I have heard that because you were mentioning that there's not really any of the original trilogy stuff. I've heard that season 2 is going to have some of the original trilogy characters in it.
I read that too, and I don't know who those could be, and I'm thinking maybe it's not going to be who we think it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be like Mon Mothma or that character, but not like, oh look, Lando just showed up and he's been de-aged.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be characters that are in masks or alien faces where you don't have to rely on the actor that played them.
This could definitely bring in like other bounty hunters that we've seen.
Boba Fett.
IG-88.
Yeah,
Boba
IG-88, Bosk, and more than likely the diner guy from the prequels.
No.
No.
Obi-Wan knew.
No.
He'll probably be in it.
Now, if they had Maz Katan, if they went to, what was her planet? Dakota?
Tacoma,
Deuteronomy?
Tacoma, Washington. Yeah, her planet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Where Maz has her
Takodama.
Takodama. Taco Diner. Yes, if they go to Taco Diner.
They got a taco diner, yeah.
That could be cool.
Because she's supposed to be active for like hundreds or years or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily mind that. Because, I mean, I people complained about the episode when they go back to Tatooine and they go to Mos Eisley. Like, oh, that's fan service and blah, blah. But I thought it was done pretty well. I mean, I probably could have done without the kids sitting in Han's seat. I'm like, we're being a little too on the nose with some of the nods. But I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I love that they went back because it showed what has happened there and how it's like the reverse now. How droids are basically running the cantina.
Kind of desolate,
and because in the original trilogy it was like no droids allowed in here, all that stuff, and how it's sort of like it's switched and just sort of become this, not a bustling hive of scum and villainy, but sort of a rundown place.
Well, after Luke and them left, the guy that lost his arm sued the owner.
He lost his liquor license.
Lost his liquor license. Has to close down. Sell it out to some droids. They took it over. That's probably what happened.
It's the age-old story.
You don't have to pay droids, right? So
yeah,
because they're not alive. So
they're not alive.
But I'm not.
They're only programmed, even though they all have, characteristics and crack jokes.
Yeah. So, what's some of your guys' favorite moments?
Sipping the tea.
Baby Yoda sipping that tea. That was hilarious.
Basically anything with Baby Yoda.
Yeah, he's a scene stealer pretty much all the time. Yeah. I really like one of those early ones when he was touching all the stuff on the console, and then after he scolded him a couple times, he's just kind of looking at him.
Yeah.
As he clicks the button again, I was like, even though he's like a little puppet and whatnot, it's like they got a lot of personality out of his limited movements, which I thought was really cute.
Yeah.
I like the knob. That's my favorite thing with him.
The what?
In the ship. Baby Yoda.
The knob.
Yoda the knob.
Yeah.
I thought you said the nod, and I was like,
the nod. The nod.
Which one?
Gives the nod. What's your any favorite fight scenes, battles?
Probably yeah, the big battle with all of the Mandalorians that come in and on jetpacks and help out, and that was really cool because you got to see all of them, and you're like, oh, there are lots more of them,
Well, there were lots more of them.
Yeah.
Moment of silence.
That's true.
Okay.
I liked a lot of the fight scenes that took place in the prison break episode.
Oh yeah.
It was all kind of tightly closed spaces, kind of moving through stuff, and like they were trying to take out those droids, and he just kind of walks up from behind, takes them all out, and they're just like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think my favorite scene of that was when it was the lights were flashing. It's like red and dark, and then you just see him slowly moving forward.
Yeah.
Strobe, that was so cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite episodes.
I really liked. I mean, I don't know. I think lots of people liked it, but I heard or read people like complaining about it. I really liked the speeder bike guys at the beginning of episode 8.
Oh, I loved it
because I'm like, I was like just a big smile on my face the whole time because I was like, if I was in the Empire and I was out with my buddy, away from everybody, yes, I would be talking smack about everything. Like nobody can hear me out here. It's just the two of us. I feel like that's what stormtroopers would do when they were completely alone, waiting for orders. That they'd just be like, they'd be talking smack to each other, or whatever. I mean, I found it to be funny, but also like, yes, I bet you this is what stormtroopers. Yes, this is what stormtroopers would do when no one's around.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I think a lot of people think that stormtroopers are robots for the most part. Like they're not real people or whatever, and it just made them kind of real. And I think that actually was one of my favorite scenes of the series, because of just the humor, and then the part where they're trying to shoot the junk and they keep missing and they're looking at the gun, and it's so funny because it's the joke, right? Is stormtroopers miss everything.
Yeah. And it was subtle. It was a lot of the humor was done very smartly, and it wasn't like, I'm going to say something funny. It's like, it was funny because of the situation. It was situational humor, not like, hey, we wrote a bunch of gags or wrote a bunch of funny things for IGA 11 to say. It was just, the situation in the moment, and then the looks and the nods and things like that made stuff like really funny.
Yeah, that episode 8, I was thinking, because the director was, I always mispronounce his name. Anyone?
Chris knows.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi. Is that right? Sure.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
From Taco Diner.
Taco Diner?
Yeah, I was
Tuesday.
like, okay, let's see how much of him, because he's got a style of him is going to be in this episode. And the first minute of it with the two stormtroopers, I'm like, that is totally his humor. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that he that he directed this.
And he got, was it Jason Sudeikis?
Sudeikis.
And the other guy, Adam Pally.
Yeah.
The only thing I know him from is Iron Man 3. He was the camera guy that was in the van that Tony Stark kind of like goes in and takes the controls so he can transmit a message.
Yeah.
Back to Pepper. He's a comedian. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
But everyone hates Jason Sudeikis.
For hitting the bag.
Yeah, for hitting the bag. Jennifer was she was like, "No, what are you doing?"
But really, I watched that scene again, and actually, it was Adam Pally that like hits him the hardest.
Oh,
after he bites him.
Yeah, after he bites him, he really slams him.
But yeah, the funniest tweet was from Second City, which is the comedy group that Jason Sudeikis was part of. I don't know if you saw that tweet, and it was like, "We do not condone what our former cast member did. Please be respectful in this time as we deal with this."
That was awesome.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, that whole last episode. Well, one of the moments that really it made me like not scream but say something was like when the Death Troopers show up. I was like, Death Troopers, and
that was awesome.
Yeah, I think Jennifer's like, what?
Well, I almost jumped because we watched that episode twice. The first time it was just me and my son, and I like let out a yelp when the troop transport came out and all the stormtroopers came out of the troop transport, because I was like, I have that toy, and I was gonna like bring it tonight, but I have it packed away somewhere. But I went on, I texted Chris and I started researching and whatnot, and sure enough, it came out in like 77, 78, was never in any of the movies, and I was just like, my heart fluttered when I saw it. I was like, look, it's on screen after all this time. That's amazing. Really cool. Somebody designed this thing 40 years ago, and it finally gets some live action screen time.
Jennifer, any favorites for you?
Well, I just think the character of the Mandalorian, because he's just strong and quiet, but when he does say something, it's important. And
what did you think when he took his mask off?
Are you gonna make me say that? Really? I was like, dang, he's not as hot as he should be. That that
He's
mystique,
a
and
little rough.
underneath that armor, I was expecting like a chiseled hottie under there. So I was a little bit disappointed. Sorry to whoever that actor is. It's not that he's ugly. I just think I built it up in my head.
There he is.
That doesn't do it for you.
Well, he didn't look like that in the episode.
Well, he was all
He was like,
bloody.
bleeding.
Yeah, but he was like chunkier. Sorry.
Chunkier.
He was laying down. When you lay down, all your fat on your face goes back.
Yeah, I mean, his face was swollen. It got hit.
Yeah.
Not swole, but swollen.
Yeah, it was really funny though because like the mask comes off, and she's like, "Oh, I thought he'd be hotter."
I did say that. Yeah.
He needs to watch The Witcher then. Take
It's
her to
like
watch The Witcher.
it's like that moment in the theater when all the ladies sigh and Thor comes out in the second one. You know, everybody's like, "Oh,
When he's fat, and everybody's
yeah."
like,
In game.
It was the same moment a little bit for me. But
I'll let you watch The Witcher, and that will
Henry Cavill.
I'll give you something to look at.
But I did get a little mad at him though when they gave away in episode 7 when they were on the comms, because I was like, you're a good soldier. You should know better than to be like, that's going to get intercepted. I got mad that they were doing that. Like, you should know better.
Yeah, it's pretty much his fault that Krill died.
Ooh.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, wow.
If he hadn't got on those comms, Krill would have made it back to the
Somebody
ship.
should remind him of that next season.
Yeah. You killed our friend Krill. I have spoken.
But
they
like,
apparently didn't hear it when IG-11 was on the speeder bike, right? On the last episode.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it was like...
Was he broadcasting or was he just like blowing everything up?
well, they talked on the call.
He talked to the
Yeah.
Mandalorian because he said
It is-
Krill is, or he said he's, what did
He's
he
not
say?
here or something.
When they talked, it was like right before he got there and started.
Yeah,
killing everybody.
yeah.
So-
They didn't have time to do anything.
Yeah.
So-
That was a
He
cool
cursed it
scene.
to their freaking-
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh my goodness.
And the biker scout was the only one that intercepted it.
Yeah.
He took him out. So
Yeah.
yeah, that whole
he
bit
took
though,
out
with-
everybody.
with the little Yoda baby sack on the front. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. He's like, yay! And he spins him around in the back to protect him. And he's just going to town, boy. And all the sound effects for the speeder bikes were like right out of Return of the Jedi. I was just like, oh, this is great. Let it go on for an hour.
So when I watched that episode the second time, at the very beginning, when the two stormtroopers kind of slide in on their speeder bikes, did y'all hear where it sounded like it screeched a little bit, like it was actually on a wheel? It sounded like it went just the really faint. I don't know. You have to watch it again and see if you see it or
I did
hear
hear
it.
when Jason Sudeikis shakes his pistol. It sounds just like a paint can.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, yeah, overall, there were so many scenes that you could just sit and talk about. And now we're going to talk about every scene.
Every single
Episode
one.
1, scene 5.
Minute 23.
You know, one thing that's funny is that the second time we watched it with my daughter and my wife. We all watched it, and so the next day we were talking about IG-11, who sacrifices himself in episode 8 there. And the thing was, I was saying to them the next morning, I was like, you know what? I was like, for whatever reason, I felt more with IG-11, who I've only spent like 2 episodes with, than C-3PO, who I've spent 9 movies with, who's going to, die or get reset to 0 to give up some information.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, well, is that because you kind of knew R2 was going to reset him? And I was like, maybe. Yeah. He goes into the molting lava. He is not coming back.
Yeah.
No.
He is not coming back.
Well, then he blows up.
And then he blows up. I was like, he is gone, baby, gone. And I'm like, I miss him.
Yeah.
I did
I
too.
like him.
Yeah.
I that's what I don't like about these side Star Wars stories. They keep killing the droids that I like.
I know.
Well, they were never living, so can you really kill them?
K2 and
Yeah.
IG-11 and even the droid from Solo I liked. She was funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what did C-3PO really do? Right? I mean, he was kind of a wimp. He could speak all these languages, right? But he didn't fight, right? So all the ones that you named that you liked were fighters, were hero kind of droids, and they were interesting.
I
Where
do
it's
really like C-3PO.
C-3PO is annoying, but I mean,
Yeah.
but it's I guess I'm just mean that's why you don't get the same feels.
Yeah, but I'm kind of with Ray on that because like when they were doing that and he was going to wipe his mind, like before that they're like, we don't have a backup. Like R2 does, but little finicky. I'm like, well, they're just obviously just gonna like reboot him when they get back.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. So
Yeah.
he's still gonna be around.
That's another
But you also
movie.
assume like a lot of people might die in that movie, right? Because it's the last one of that series, right? And you're like, somebody's got to die, right?
Might as well be C-3PO.
But I agree though. Like I think it's my favorite droid so far because it's those qualities, right, that we all want to have. Like he's not supposed to have a personality or a heart, but he's so selfless and he thinks about like puts others first and does the hard thing that we all hope we'll be able to do in a moment like that, but probably won't because we're not that cool.
And we're not robots.
Why didn't they just take the thermal detonator out of him and throw it?
I'm guessing there's probably some kind of fail-safe within him that it can't be removed because, I mean, they didn't say anything like this, but that's the whole thing with the bomb is that if he's captured, he's going to explode.
Yeah,
so there's probably some kind of fail-safe to explode when trying to release it. The only thing I was thinking of, well, why don't you just remove his head?
That's what I was. Yeah. And then my next question was, well, why didn't they just remove his head then?
No.
They could have carried it around with them.
Walked out there.
Yeah.
Or he could have. The moment before it explodes, he could have shot his little whip thing through the head and pulled it back so he could save the head.
Saved you, buddy.
Yeah.
And then they could have put the head on top of the little baby Yoda carrier.
Oh, you play with it.
Floated around with his head, like talking, and he just kind of floats it around. That would have been great.
But see, I liked it. I like that they did that. I mean, same thing with Quill. How do they pronounce his name?
Krill, I think.
Quill.
Quill. Kuill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah.
So-
No.
so he's-
Kuiil. Sorry.
Oh, there's an extra eye in
There's
it.
an extra eye.
But he was a cool character too, and you kind of got to know him and like him, and then they offed him, and it's it's a bummer that happened, but it's like, okay, well, new characters next season, he's in a dangerous line of work, so it's like it's kind of,
And it's a Western. And Westerns are, I mean, if you watch any Western, all the characters that you meet along the way, most of them don't survive the movie.
Right.
Because it's it's outlaws, it's, vigilantes, it's, a danger, bounty hunting is a complicated profession, as they say. So
that's what they say.
So they're not going to all survive because it's the life around them,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember after the first episode saying to Chris, I was like, man, IG-11's gone already? God, I wanted to see more of him.
Yeah, I think we all did, yeah.
And then he came back, and I was like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, he's building his team. IG's going to be there next season. Kara's going to be there next season. And then they started picking them off one by one. I was like, what is happening?
Well, that's the thing with Westerns. When they build a team, the team does not survive. The main guy survives, and maybe one or two others. But, if you look at... what's some
Young Guns?
Oh, Young Guns, yeah. Most of them get die. They just recently redid the Dirty Dozen or something like that.
Yeah,
where they all, I mean, basically everybody dies in that one. All the
Magnificent
heroes.
Seven, is that it?
Oh, Magnificent Seven, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Dirty Dozen is the
War. Yeah, Magnificent Seven.
12.
I think all 7 of them die, or 6 of them die, or something. So that's sort of the name of the game when it comes to Westerns. That your hero is probably most likely going to survive, but all the people that help him probably won't because they sacrifice themselves for whatever the quest is.
So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's a little bit like Game of Thrones, where you don't want to get too attached to certain characters because you don't know how long they're going to be there for. So a couple survived. Maybe we'll see them again next season. They'll be back for an episode or two. But
unlike unlike Game of Thrones, Pedro Pascal actually survived this one.
What? I haven't watched
Yes.
it. Oh no.
You're not gonna watch it.
We started.
We talked about it the other night, and then we
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
I was a little sad that she didn't leave with the Mandalorian.
the Cara Dune.
Yeah.
I was expecting her to.
Yeah, I love that character.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
I felt like it was kind of weird how it ended, though. It was like, I'm going to stay here. It's like, why would you want to stay there?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a great place at all to be.
The
And-
scum and villainy gone.
Yeah, everybody's dead. There's nobody left.
I said so.
I don't know.
I think with her though, her
I'll have to
character.
clean up.
I think her character is that she doesn't want to be
Found.
tied down, or so she's like, if I go with the Mandalorian right now,
Commitment issues.
yeah, I think she's like, I'll stay here for a little while and I'll see how this place is, and then maybe I'll move on. Because she doesn't want to be found because of he's basically turned her back on stuff, and
Right.
so she wants to, and she figured, well, this place, there's nobody here now. We've killed everybody, so
Yeah.
But Moff Gideon's still there.
he's
so
still there with
She
the
doesn't
dark
know.
saber.
with
What'd you think of him? Because he didn't show up until like the last couple episodes, even just like the tail end of the 7th, and then
hmm
Was that him in the episode with?
no one knows.
Or was it somebody else?
It was never revealed.
Somebody thinks that's Boba Fett, but I don't know.
Well,
no, I just feel like no, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
There was some.
Please.
There was some other Funko Pops that were put out there. Some pictures of ones coming out,
Yeah.
and there's one random Mandalorian that you didn't see in the series.
But she just has a
And-
generic. That Mandalorian just has a generic name.
Yeah, so I mean, people are wondering if that's who.
I think
It
I
was
think
gonna
that one's
be-
dead.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, say
Guys,
Jennifer's
it's
got to
been
go.
fun. Our
So
children who don't sleep, one of them is awake.
yeah, so she's
Oh
gotta go.
no.
Thanks for
Bye,
being
Jennifer.
on. Jennifer.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks.
I had a ton more questions to ask you, but oh
You
well.
do? Like
No,
what?
let's just go. No.
Oh.
It's the same questions I'll ask her.
Well, now that I know the video doesn't get posted online, I'll come on more often if you'll have me.
Anytime.
Yay.
Night, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Okay, now we can really talk. No.
Hey, watch it.
See all those women.
Now we're talking about The Witcher. Okay.
Well, the thing was in that episode, and my son noticed it, is I forget the character that they were going after, but her armor or her outfit looked Imperial, like an Imperial TIE fighter pilot or something.
Yeah, I think she was Imperial.
Which one?
So,
Ming Na Wen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
She worked. She was a whatever.
Yeah, she was
Not a
something.
bounty
She
hunter,
was
but a
enforcer or
Assassin?
something.
yeah, we never really got a
What's the term?
clear
So long ago.
explanation as to what she was doing. She just said something about she was working for somebody and it went sideways or something, or had a falling out. So I don't know. I was wondering after seeing the whole thing, could that have been Gideon? Was Gideon sort of
yeah.
on the trail of the Mandalorian, like he because everybody knew he took off with Baby Yoda. So was he trying to locate him himself?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I was thinking. But then there's all these other rumors. But I wanted that character I wanted her to be in more.
Survive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
Yeah.
actress a lot. So it's like,
Yeah,
It's
sounds like her a lot, too.
Mulan. They killed
yeah,
Mulan.
they killed
I
Mulan.
know.
But then maybe whoever that was, maybe she wasn't all the way dead, and he
Yeah,
or
I mean,
she
we don't-
grabbed her and took her.
We don't know her alien race. She could have two hearts.
Yeah,
There you go.
who
That's true.
knows? Who knows? I think one of my favorite episodes still. I don't know why it's one of my favorite episodes, but I really liked it. Was the first episode we saw Cara Dune, where they're on that one planet,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
he helps rescue or save the village.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that one just sticks out.
I'm guessing it reminds you of Return of the Jedi.
No, it reminds me of do you Three Amigos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, not the comedy side of it, but it's like that old school Western
Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai. where there's the village, and I mean, I liked how they did it. I liked how they shot it. So I don't know, it just stuck out, and I mean, that was the first time we saw Cara Dune, and I loved that character's interaction with him. It was really cool. I love the sneaking into the bad guys' little encampment, and taking some of them out and stuff. So I don't know, it was cool. But this whole series was basically, people have called it a video game. You go on these quests, you go on these side quests.
Oh yeah.
When you win the quest, you upgrade your armor. I mean, it's the whole thing,
Yeah. A little bit at the same time, and I don't know, it bothered me a little bit, but not enough to really be a complaint, because I felt like each episode had character building and it had some hints to his past and whatnot. But some of the episodes felt very contained, almost like it was an episode of like Star Trek or something, like where they beam down to a planet and they take care of the problem and they're back on the ship and off to the next episode, where nothing really had anything to do with the episode that came before or the episode that came after. It wasn't like each episode was building, except for the character moments, which I appreciated. Because I like the way that they did that, where you're on that episode you're talking about right now, when he's talking to the village woman, getting more information about the helmet, why he doesn't take it off, when he does take it off, how he eats, and so forth and so on. And it's like, it was done in a very natural way, like, hey, this is an alien species, and I don't really know anything about you. I have some questions. And so, much like they would in Star Trek, I used to tell my wife, I was like, whenever Data's talking to the captain, that's for the audience. That's all information that we need, And so I felt like there was a little bit of that happening on some of those episodes, but done in a very natural way that didn't feel like, here's a whole lot of information we're going to
a history lesson.
Yes, exactly.
To me, I could kind of compare it to, weirdly, and it's almost kind of connected to Star Trek because a lot of the actors did it, was Gargoyles. Because each episode's very episodic, but like the characters are continually growing through each episode, and there's always kind of like a subplot that's almost the main plot that's kind of in the background.
Yeah. That's
kind of continuing it through. It's not the main thing of the episode, but there's still little things that are building towards what's going to happen, basically.
Yeah, I'm really glad they brought back the Mudhorn as his signet, because that episode to me was sort of like, okay, I mean, I liked it, but I was just sort of like, okay, it's sort of a random side quest that were going on. So I'm glad they brought back that, okay, this is your signet because you both battled together.
Yeah.
And now you are two. Two becomes one.
Well, remember when Baby Yoda tried to heal his arm that time?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you should have let him do it. You would have known like earlier that, he had this ability.
Yep.
I love, just back to Baby Yoda, I love those moments when he's like just sitting in his little pod, and then the next thing you know, he's like there.
Yeah.
He's like a little gremlin or something. He's just there, like super fast, and he's kind of like, "What are you doing out of your thing?" Puts him back in the thing. And like 2 seconds later, he's there again.
The Looney Tunes episode.
I'm fast.
All right, so what did you think of the different directors? Were there some directors that do you like that they used different directors throughout for each episode?
I did. I mean, nothing felt like disconnected.
Yeah.
I thought they all did a really good job.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Taika's Waititi stuff. Like,
yeah.
I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard did a good job. That's actually your favorite.
Yeah,
episode.
I was gonna say, like, she did an excellent job. It was like, I didn't, when I saw that she was the director, I was like, oh wow, it's the girl from the village and Jurassic Park. She did an excellent job. And
in that episode, I saw that when they were filming it, they were doing a stunt with the Cara Dune's character, and it's in the bar scene where she like kicks somebody and he goes flying across the room.
Yeah.
And when they filmed that, she leaned over and was like, oh, wow, that was really good. I mean, where you got the wires on this guy? I didn't even see anything. They're like, no, she actually kicked that guy across the room.
Wow.
She's like, oh, okay.
People are calling for that actress that plays Cara Dune to be She-Hulk.
I can see that.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right, so those were directors that stuck out to me too. So before we get into the future of season 2, do you think that Disney, after this season 1, should just go Filoni, Favreau, here is Star Wars, take it and run with it?
No. Not that. I say no because I don't want them to be overwhelmed with everything else. I want them. I mean, Filoni. I think like all the TV stuff. I can see him being like a producer on everything because he knows the lore. He knows everything. Like he was taught by Lucas to know like the history of everything.
Yeah.
And I think that he brings that to the plate. So I can see him being like a producer on a bunch of stuff to kind of make sure things are kind of staying in line. But
I think sort of like Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
You know, sort of that type of role where they oversee everything and make sure nobody's doing something Last Jedi. I mean, something bad.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I've read so much with people, I hate all this Disney Star Wars, all the Disney Star Wars, Disney's to blame, Disney has ruined Star Wars, and I'm thinking, who at Disney is doing anything? Lucasfilm runs Lucasfilm. I mean, and I feel like whoever's approving and greenlighting projects or allowing certain directors and writers to do whatever they're doing, that's where the problem comes in. I mean, no one's going, oh, these Disney Marvel films are fantastic.
Yeah.
Everyone tends to drop the name off when they're praising the Marvel films, but pulls it into the mix when they're,
I just said Disney because they own everything, but
it wasn't a shot at you at all.
That's
but,
what I meant.
Shot at you.
Oh my!
Yes, it was. It was a shot.
Podcast is over.
You're not getting your check this week, Ryan. I am so sorry. But I'm almost wondering. I mean, I'm almost wondering if they should just sort of take a break. No more movies. I mean, if they're going to do Knights of the Old Republic, if they want to do that as a trilogy, it's like, man, that would be so much better to do as like 8 seasons on a TV show than to do something big and epic and so forth in 3 movies. I mean, even if Lucas could start over, Disney Star Wars, Disney whatever, if they could just completely redo the Skywalker saga and like sit down and write it from episode 1 to 9, I would say put it on TV. Don't do it in a movie format. You'll have so much more time to let things develop and have characters breathe and have arcs happen there than trying to squeeze stuff into movies. I mean, so I don't know.
They are taking a little break.
I want them to take a break from the films and
I think
do some more cool TV.
I think Solo could have worked better as a TV. It would have almost been like a young Indiana Jones.
Oh, dude, totally. And I mean, imagine what they could have done with that. He could have been like in Jabba's gang. I mean, Boba Fett, Greedo could have been there. I mean, there could have been all kinds of stuff where they were pals and this and that, and they could have really explored his involvement in the criminal underworld instead of, okay, these are the 10 things we have to show him do in this movie that everyone already knows, but we're doing it anyway. I mean, it's just I don't know.
Yeah, I think anymore I don't think I like to watch movies as much as I do TV shows. Like if I'm looking at Netflix, I usually skip over the movies and I go to the series. I think it is more interesting. And I think when I've talked to people about this new Star Wars movies, it's like there's all this time in between us, and I've said, it leaves all kinds of opportunities for them to have these stories of these people. And when I think of that, I'm thinking shows, because that's you have more time to do it. You can develop things, and it will never feel like it's rushed because you can take as long as you want, and that's what people want. So I feel like that would be more successful. I'd be fine if they never did another Star Wars movie.
Well, they are.
As long as they did TV shows.
Because
I know, but
Knightsville Republic.
Debbie Downer.
No, I mean Knightsville Republic is in pre-production.
yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
It came out 11 hours ago.
Even
Ugh.
Kevin Feige, like, apparently he's gonna do something with Star Wars. And
Is
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson's trilogy still on? Please say.
I don't think it's ever been said it's off.
It's
So,
Uh,
the Game of Thrones guys, like their
they're
stuff
done.
is off. Yeah.
But the Ryan Johnson thing, I haven't heard anything about it, which is really bizarre, considering that it was announced 3 years ago.
They
that he was
announced it.
developing.
They announced it before
The movie came out.
the movie came out, and then the movie came out, and they're like, shh, we didn't say anything.
Yeah, but they still mentioned that. Oh no, he's still doing it. It's
Yeah.
like, really? Well, why have we not heard anything?
I think they're letting the fire calm down
Mm-hmm.
before
let
they.
them get Knives Out there. People like that. Maybe win some people back.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, what do you think about the? So Favreau has already said, he released on Instagram or something, that season 2, fall 2020, with a picture of a Gamorrean race, Gamorrean guard. What did you think of the picture? Sexy,
awesome.
huh?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
It's a very lean, mean Gamorrean.
Reminds me of The Witcher.
Wow.
Just soak it
There you
in.
go.
I thought Chris was
Look
getting
at
ready to
that.
say something. He was just like, anyways.
No,
So
it's great, and it's great that he's going back to characters. And he did that in the first season too, where the characters popped up, like the Salacious Crumb character or species,
yeah,
kind of popped up there, and kind of revisiting, some of the characters or alien species we've seen in the existing movies without, kind of diving into them a little bit more, which is kind of neat,
So what character, you can each pick one, would you want to see show up in season 2 from the original trilogy? Oh,
IG-11.
it's a test.
The chef from.
The original trilogy.
Oh well, I mean that's 1, 2, and 3. That's not the.
No. God.
I'm
Original.
just frustrating you.
Ah.
I like to see Bosk.
Bosk? Oh.
Yeah.
We did see his race
right?
Yeah.
in season 1, so that would be cool.
Any of those bounty hunters would be kind of cool.
Even
Yeah.
Boba Fett?
Not Boba Fett. Again, I feel like that's going to be the fan service. You
Yeah.
Well,
can't
I know,
just
that's
have,
why I'm-
hey,
that's why I'm
Boba
saying.
Fett's here. I mean, it's like now you got 2 Mandalorians. It's like you got the old fan favorite, you got the new fan favorite. It's like, just this is your show, dude. Just you go with it.
The only way it would make it interesting
Mm-hmm.
is if Boba Fett showed up not in his armor. He somehow got out of the Sarlacc pit. He comes in contact with him for like one episode where he's not like a main character. He's with this character for the whole episode, and not till the very end do you find out, oh, that was Boba Fett.
But wouldn't he look like the guy from the prequels?
Not after coming
Yeah,
out of the
well, you
Sarlacc pit.
should.
You know, he's come out of the
Orange.
Sarlacc pit. He's
It's all
just
nasty.
yeah, and then you find out at the end, oh crap, that was Boba Fett.
And he pulls a mask off, and it's him.
Surprise!
No, but I mean that's the only way
Scooby-Doo
that
episode.
that's the only way that it would be like really a cool way to do it. Maybe he's like, it's a character that he comes in contact with, like Quill or something, that's helping him, and he's telling him stuff about the past. This is what happened. This is what you need to do. This is where you need to go. And then you find out, oh, that was Boba Fett, and he sort of like, helped him out without being the silent bounty hunter that's puts people in carbonite.
I hope not. I don't want any
Yeah.
Boba Fett in this.
I could see them doing it in a flashback, because at first my wife and I thought that maybe is that Boba Fett that's taking him off with the jetpack.
Yeah.
Well,
But
What character would I want?
And you're saying from the original trilogy, so not Maz. Maz couldn't be in it.
No, just the original. I mean, just for this question, but Maz could
Just
be.
for this question.
Yeah, just for this question. Because they said there was an announcement that there were characters from the original trilogy coming to season 2.
Interesting.
So like Zuckuss, maybe. You guys know who Zuckuss is? Probably not. It's one of the bounty hunters in Empire.
He got the like bee face.
Yeah, there's Zuckuss and Ilom or something like that. They were a duo. It was a droid and then Zuckuss together. It was the other droid, not IG-11.
Oh.
Or IG-88, sorry. Gosh, but other characters...
I mean, you have to think about who's still alive at the end of Return of the Jedi, right? So not a lot of bad guys.
I wouldn't mind seeing Wicket.
I knew you were going to say Wicket.
I mean, that would be sort of the humor, like a humor spot.
Yeah.
It would be fun,
could happen.
like an older
Wait.
Wicket.
And anybody from Jabba's palace, like Bib Fortuna or any of those dudes?
But
you
he's
know?
been,
I was wondering. I watched the prequels again recently, and because we don't know where Yoda, like his race is from, right?
Mhm.
Hasn't been said. Because when he goes to the Wookiee planet, he's like, he says, I have really good relations with the Wookiees. So I'm wondering, like, could his race actually be from that same planet? Like, it would be inhabited by Wookiees and his race? Possibly.
maybe.
Because, I mean, then they could go to the Wookiee planet and they could have Wookiees.
And not Chewbacca.
And not Chewbacca, but just
Yeah.
Wookiees.
Well, it's funny
his family.
the
from
video game,
Christmas special.
the video
His grown-up
game,
son.
um,
Bumpy.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned Tarful in there. Tarful is like one of the lead Wookiees from the prequels, and he's like, go see, or I was good friends with Tarful from Kashyyyk. So, maybe. I'm looking around my room. Not Deadpool. He probably wouldn't work.
No.
I'm thinking you could do like Mon Mothra, and you could do like that general dude that was there at the briefing. I forgot his name. He was all dressed in gray. He had like one scene.
Yeah.
General somebody like New Republic type of people.
You could do the band from the Jabba the Hutt's house.
Yeah. Akbar. You could have Akbar. You could have a run-in with the Republic ship.
Akbar.
You know what would be hilarious? Wait, what's his name? I just forgot his name.
Something funny, probably.
Why did I just forget his name?
Ukataka.
I'm going to go see him next week on Batu. If he boards a transport and it's piloted by the pilot from Star Tours.
Oh, Rex?
Rex, yeah, that would be hilarious. You just see him up there and he's like, "Everybody ready?" Pee Wee Herman's voice. That'd be so funny. Yeah, this is not I would love to see what's her name from Rebels?
You said we couldn't pick anybody.
I know, I'm just saying.
Come on. Don't bend the rules.
But I would like to see some Rebel characters. Some actual characters from that. And I saw that people are speculating that because we didn't talk about this yet with the Darksaber stuff.
Oh yeah,
yes. Let's talk about it.
But the last person to have that was a character in Rebels, and supposedly, so the actress that played that character in it was Katie Sackhoff, and she tweeted something like saying like, "Oh my goodness, I just filmed like the best thing ever. I can't talk about it. It's so awesome." And people were speculating that she filmed herself as her character from Rebels on the Mandalorian. Like there may be some like backstory to how he gets the Darksaber.
I'm checking. She may not be the last person that's had the Darksaber.
Because I thought what's her face gave it to her at the end and left her in control and left her in command.
Yeah, but then there's comic books and stuff, so.
Well, you can't.
I watched a video about the Darksaber the other day from a guy named Star Wars Theory, and he went through the whole from beginning to end with the Darksaber. It was a really cool watch.
I think I watched the same one. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was cool to see how it basically came to be and all this stuff.
I feel like they run a risk though by having things too tied to the cartoons, because I mean they're even like right now with the helmets and not being able to take their helmets off. It's like, okay, well, is that something that came into being after the siege of Mandalore, and that's why on the cartoons they're still taking them off, and then later they don't? And it's kind of like, how beheld do you have to be to all the books and cartoons and comics and stories that have ever been written? You know,
I think that more has to do with the clan than overall. Like his clan can't remove their helmets, but other Mandalores can.
And that'll be interesting to see if they explore something like that. If he runs into another one,
yeah,
and they take off their helmet.
Interesting.
Interesting.
But yeah, because when the Darksaber showed up, like I knew what it was. My wife Jenny, no clue what it was.
Yes.
And I was like explaining it to her, and then like Ray texted me, and he's like, "Am I supposed to know what this is?"
Well, did you watch the cartoon? I'm like, no.
So Ray knows what the Darksaber is now, because I remember showing him my Darksaber, and he was like, "What?"
It didn't even click, because then Chris was like, it's the one that Ryan made, and I'm like, oh yeah, everything makes sense now.
Yeah, I made a Darksaber. I'm redoing it. I'm gonna make a better one. So Sabine I think this was in Rebels. Sabine hands it off at the end to Bo-Katan.
Yeah, which is Katie Sackhoff's character.
Oh, right. I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know who that is. So
she's on The Flash. She plays that weird character that's British.
Oh, that one weird character.
Yeah, Bowser Schwartz.
So Bo-Katan was the last person that we saw that had it. Yeah. And then at some point, Moff Gideon acquired the blade.
Is it possible we'll see any Imperial folk?
Who's left?
I don't know. Did any of the admirals on any of the Star Destroyers that were in some of the previous movies survive?
No, I don't think so. I think they all died.
They'd be very old now anyway, though.
Yeah.
The one, the one from Rebels. She'd be cool. The Mandalorian, the main character.
Sabine.
Yeah,
Sabine would be cool. Ahsoka Tano would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see her live action. That character. That would be cool. It's got some weird feedback. Sorry. Sounds like a fan.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Anyways. All right, so anything else you guys want to see in season 2?
Oh no. More awesome stuff.
More awesome stuff. More of Mandalorian and teenage Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I don't want to skip ahead like we did with Baby Groot to...
Yeah, I want this more Baby Yoda.
Which, I mean, really, they could do like 50 more seasons, and then Baby Yoda would start to talk or something.
Yeah. That's going to be weird to see if they make Baby Yoda talk, and then how that age thing works. Because he's been around for 50 years and he still can't talk. Or maybe he can talk and he just chooses not to.
Well, hopefully, too, maybe in the second one we'll find out a little bit more about like the client. What was his intent?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he got double crossed by Gideon, right? Because he's like, do you have the child? Yes, we have him. And then they opened up fire and like killed everybody.
The client was getting it for Gideon, right?
I guess.
I think so.
But then there was the Camino guy that was there, so it was like, and he was trying to protect him or something. So it was like, what was their plan?
So the way that I pieced it together, which I could be totally wrong, is that Gideon hired the client to get Baby Yoda because they needed something out of Baby Yoda, and that's why the Camino guy was there. Because as long as they got what they needed, it didn't matter if Baby Yoda was alive or dead.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So they didn't get what they needed. So he basically said, "Well, fine, I'll just handle it." And Gideon came in to handle it and killed the client because the client didn't do what Gideon wanted. And who knows what happened to the Camino guy?
I'm wondering, and I hope this isn't it because I don't want it to be it. Is because we at this point we know the Emperor's still alive somewhere.
I was gonna say the same thing.
That is the Emperor out to get the Baby Yoda in order to use him to help heal himself or do something like that?
Don't speak those words into existence.
That's the second time I've heard somebody say that. So it could be that.
Is that the character from the original trilogy that's going to be in season 2?
I hope not.
Palpatine.
All the backlash the movie's getting for him being back, I think if that was their idea, they probably are like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
I think he saw. I mean, we don't have to talk about Rise of Skywalker, but he sort of had to come back to fix the mess that was The Last Jedi. So I don't know. I don't know what else they could have done.
Well, I read something weird about that, just to kind of sidetrack to Rise of Skywalker, that the Emperor was not alive at the beginning. He was like his presence. That's why he was, he did die. He did die in the Return of the Jedi, but his being, his essence or ghost or whatever, did not want to go to the other side. That's why he was clinging and had the machines and all that. And I'm like, okay, well then why did he look almost exactly like himself? I mean, so now we're stealing a page from Harry Potter where Voldemort's barely alive and clinging to life for 30 years. It's just
he was in Fortnite, so
you can try to after the fact explain it as much as you want. In the movie, it makes no sense.
Yeah, I still liked it. I liked it. Anyways, we're not talking about that though.
That's right, we're not.
We're talking about the Mandalorian. But yeah, so overall, I love it. I love it. I love it so much that I want the Mandalorian armor. I want to join the the mercs, Mandalorian mercs, like the 501st, and do like charity and stuff with it. But that will probably never happen because I don't know how I could convince my wife to be like, "Hey, can I buy this, or can I have this suit of armor made to wear around?"
We'll just bring her back on. We'll help you.
Oh yeah. I told her, I said, "You know what we should do next year for Halloween?" She's like, "What?" You could dress up like Cara Dune, and I could dress up like the Mandalorian, and then our 2-year-old could be Baby Yoda.
Perfect.
And then our
Grant
son
could be cool.
Quill. He could be IG-11.
There you go. Well, I think I mentioned it on the last time we were talking about Mandalorian, but my son because he wants to make his own helmet and whatnot, but he was suggesting that that's what they should do at Galaxy's Edge. They should have much like with the lightsaber, build your own lightsaber, which we haven't experienced any of it yet, but doing a thing where you go in and you can get your Beskar and they can melt it down and you get your own helmet and this and that, and you can customize it and whatnot to build your own Mandalorian armor.
Cool.
And just like with the droids and everything else that they have down there, they could all be unique and one of a kind and personalized to you.
Yeah, I've been looking on Etsy,
but they don't do that in Batu.
And see, I think that's something they're going to have to fix because they're going to need to cash in on this. And even if they put it next to Star Tours or something and go, "Oh no, this is in a different area."
I mean, it could be a underground Mandalorian.
There you go.
Thing that they're in hiding and that you have to find and go down to.
Yes, there you go.
Do that.
Because they gotta have Mando there with Baby Yoda, kind of like they did with the Star-Lord and Baby Groot to get your picture taken with him. Because I would probably stand in line for 3 hours to.
Yep.
No, you go on Rise of the Resistance. I am getting my picture taken with the fake Baby Yoda.
Well,
Oh,
one
that's
thing
cool.
that's really cool about Galaxy's Edge is that they have this big story about it, which I just got the comic books and the book, right? So they have this huge story line, and it makes it really neat. So I'm excited to read it since I haven't been yet, so that I can kind of get the background of it and kind of enjoy or whatever. But at the same time, they have painted themselves into this story, and it's you know,
Yeah.
it comes and goes. It's
It's supposed to be
always there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be frozen in time, pretty much.
Yeah, but
Where
they didn't have to do that.
I know they didn't have to, but that's what they chose to do. Which,
Yeah.
well, here's what I want to do next. This is getting off of the topic. I'm sorry, Mandalorian. I love it, but so when I'm going next week, I forget the character's name. She's a resistance spy. She's in the Vi. Is that her name?
Something like that.
I wanna download on my phone the Palpatine's message that he sends out.
Yeah.
And find her and be like, I've infiltrated a message. You need to get it to the Resistance, and like play it for her, and like be like, I'll freak you out, like freaking out. Play it for her, and then just run off. Like not even wait and see what she says. Just like run off, and be like, and then tell her at the end, right before I leave, go. And keep your eye on Rey. I have concerns that she may not be who she says she is. And then just walk off. I may do it. I mean,
if you play the message for her, she'll just go, "Oh yeah, we saw that on Fortnite."
Yeah.
Let everybody.
I just want to see if she'll actually like play into it, or she'll just be like, "You're dumb." Like,
or you could just keep running up to her, telling her that she has something important to tell her, and then run away and never say it.
Yeah. I thought about getting a thumb drive, like a cheap thumb drive, and putting the message on there, and just walk him and just hand it to her and say, "Take this to the Resistance," and just walk off, and have like I am geek our email address and stuff, and see if like they respond. I think that'd be hilarious.
Just give her an I am geek button.
Yeah.
There's a message on this button.
I'm probably gonna do. I mean, last time I went. I had fun with her. Like she saw me with my lightsaber, and she said, "Meet me later." We've talked about this before, and I was like, "What?" And she just ran off because she was being chased by First Order troopers. And so I saw her later, and she goes, "It's you. You found me." And she remembered me, and she took me inside and said, "Okay, what do we need to do about the First Order on here on Batu? What's your ideas?" And we like talked for a few minutes, and then she said, "Okay, we got to split so they don't see us together." And then she went her separate way, and I went my separate way. And so it's cool. It's a cool experience.
Here's some fast passes. Go.
Yeah, I'm just hoping because of how crazy it's been with this new ride opening that they don't stop doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see when I go.
Yeah.
You need to get a little baby carrier like pack and get you a little baby Yoda and put it in. And just walk around with that.
Somebody did that. I saw it. Yeah. I am they call it Disney bounding, but I guess it'll be Star Wars bounding. I have my outfit that I'm wearing because it is January and it's cooler. It's gonna be like in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got, hopefully my vest gets here in time. It's like a puffer green vest, and I'm gonna have the Henley like they would wear underneath, and then like they're joggers pants. They're like cargo joggers, like they're khaki. And then I have a sling bag that I'm wearing because I don't want to carry my wallet around and stuff. So I'll look like I fit right in.
Nice. It'll be fun.
I want to play it up. I want to have fun. I mean, that's all. Yeah. Like our friends over at Always Believe that we've had on. That's what it's all about, playing in the parks. So I'm going to go play because this is going to be me. So I don't have to worry about kids getting a stroller. Kids do this. It's just going to be me playing for. I may not even go to another park. I may just go the 3 days I'm there. Just go to Galaxy's Edge and just play and have fun.
Well, that's how long the line's going to be for this.
So you may have to. You'll have one shot to try to get on to Rise of the Resistance, then the next day you'll have another shot. And
that's crazy. If I don't get on, I'm going to go berserk.
Yeah,
I'm going to be one of those people that complain. I flew all the way here.
So it is a race weekend coming up next weekend. Did you know that?
No.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Marathon.
There's an expo that they go to on that Wednesday.
Oh
And-
no!
But the races are actually till the weekend, so maybe people won't start coming in because I mean it's still school, so maybe people won't.
I was hoping that right after everybody would be back to school and be back to work, and so there would be that little tiny window of a couple of days.
While you're there, it won't be as bad until the day you leave.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Anyways, so back to Mandalorian. We all love it. I have not come across a person yet that didn't like it. Have you?
No.
No, like overall, everybody likes it. I've seen like some people on like Twitter or whatever.
Oh, well, they
like,
don't count because
like
they just like to complain.
I didn't like, but
like
overall,
people like people that are Star Wars fans. I haven't seen a Star Wars fan that's like, nah, I don't care for it.
It's been the most satisfying of the stuff they've done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly a lot of Disney Plus subscriptions dropped off after episode 8.
Oh, I could see that.
They've gone.
Yeah, they've got to come back with something pretty soon.
They moved up WandaVision.
Yeah. To sometime in 2020. Sometime.
Yeah. So they've got that. They've got the Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Lizzie McGuire.
There's still like 2 episodes of Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, so funny. We were watching one before this. Where it's in the bike episode.
Oh, the bike's good. Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they're going to drop all this stuff around the same time. And it seems like it would have been smarter to kind of put it out each quarter so that you're kind of stringing them along a little bit.
Sure.
But I think like I got a funny feeling that they're all going to come out like next October, November.
They should have had something ready for after episode 8 dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because then people would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to cancel it. I'm going to check this out." But they didn't have anything ready.
Right.
They're even taking stuff away. They took a bunch of the stuff away for a little bit because like Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2 went away.
Oh.
Because
Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
Yeah. There was a handful of stuff that went away because of prior deals that they had with other companies.
Yeah.
But they say that it's going to come back after those deals are over.
Because I didn't get to watch Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
I'm sorry. I've got it on beta if you want to watch it.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So I guess by 2021 it should be pretty humming with all the content, like all the Marvel, all the Star Wars should all be on.
Yeah.
So, which is why they got us into those sweet 3-year deals.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. They locked us in.
I'm only paying like what $3.75 a month, so I can't
it's
play
worth
that much. So
there's a ton of good things still. So
yeah, there really is.
Oh yeah, I love
I watched Blackbeard's Ghost the other day.
Oh, nice.
The classic Disney.
Peter Ustinov is amazing in that. He's just so good. He's so funny.
It was so weird.
It's completely weird, but he's just so good.
Yeah, it was fun though. Yeah.
Our friend Tyler just got to experience Swiss Family Robinson.
I saw that.
Yeah. I want to watch that again.
Oh, that's one of the greats. Yeah, I love that one.
We watched Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh, those are fun little movies.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
They're funny.
They're good. Yeah, we watched the second one, then the first one. We've got to get to the third one now.
You're watching them backwards?
Well, we didn't know. My son is starting to read those, and so we looked it up on our Roku, and we're like, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and it showed it was on HBO Go. So we're like, oh, okay. So then we found that another one on Disney Plus, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're Fox movies or whatever, so they're there, I guess. But so, yeah,
those are fun. I've seen them.
Yeah,
we'll watch The Black Hole again.
Yeah,
oh, right, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I want to watch, but we'll see if I ever get to watch it.
We watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
A well of a tale to tell you, lad. A well of a tale or two about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees.
Yeah,
because like all on the cruise, like everywhere, they were playing that for some reason.
I love that song.
Because you're at sea. Yeah. That's at sea music.
So we came home and we watched that.
That's what sailors listen to the entire time at sea.
Well, that's the only song they know.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I got me a rebel badge to sport. Patch to sport during Galaxy or while I'm at Batu.
There's a song on The Witcher that you'll get in your head too with the.
Mm-hmm. Going for the Witcher.
Yeah. I've seen a few episodes. I'm still completely lost.
They've added that to the game.
Oh, have they?
There was some kind of like, I don't know if it's official or someone did like a mod thing or something to add it in there.
That's funny.
All right. Well, we've been going an hour and 25 minutes.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got an hour more in me to talk about the Mandalorian.
Let's do it. Let's break it down. What do you think that mudhorn egg tastes like?
Cadbury.
No, those Jawas were excited about it. Though.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Those Jawas get around. They're like everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're space Jawas. They were the dark cloaks.
Yes. They're like planet rats. They're just everywhere.
They are. What do you think about those little weird, not rats really, but ferret-looking things that were by the lava river with the little red eyes?
Oh, yeah, it was weird.
They're like panned to them for like a while. They're like, really take it in. Just look at it.
I thought one was gonna fall in or something.
I know.
Look at that womp rat.
Oh, but yeah, I could probably talk about the Mandalorian for another hour or two. No, Katrin could.
Yes.
Oh, look at the
Let's do it. I'll tell you. I will say one thing. When watch the first episode, you're like, "This is amazing," and the quality of the just the whole show and the effects and everything. You're just like, "Oh my goodness, can they keep this up?" And it seems like they did. They kept it up, and that seems like that's got to be pretty expensive. There are a couple of scenes when you look at it, you're like, you could tell that's just in a room and not in a real scene, But for the most part, it's like, man, this is really well done, and it feels like a high quality movie or show.
It's impressive. In a pool, like the whole set was built inside of a pool, like Home Alone.
What?
Which, by the way, there's a new Netflix documentary, The Movies That Made Us, right?
Yes.
Did you want to see
where
that?
I learned that from.
There you
watched
go.
it.
Yeah,
The whole set in a pool?
Yeah, the whole house was built in a pool.
Why?
Weird.
High school.
That's weird.
Because, they needed to flood it, like the basement for the one house. So they built it in a pool so they could flood it.
Okay.
What else, dude?
The actual house was built in the gym, I think. But that house was built in the pool so they could flood the basement.
That's really funny.
That's why they use a real house.
If they want to flood it.
It's easier to move the cameras around a set.
I know. I know. Anyways. All right. There we go. The Mandalorian and Home Alone built in a pool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next
We
time
should-
on... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say we should tell people about our big event and
Oh,
in January.
yes. I was going to say tomorrow we'll be hopefully recording with Grim Grimming Guys, which is another podcast. So we'll probably do an episode with them.
Yes.
So check them out. And then we have a big event coming up. People have been asking. There's been calls coming in, emails.
Yeah.
When are you going to do this? There's people knocking down my door.
Oh, that's a Creditors.
We need our money.
Let me have this one. But January 25th, right? Yes.
Saturday,
Yes.
January 25th.
was
The
trying to-
day before the Royal Rumble.
Which we're going to.
We're going.
They're going to.
Chris won't go with us, but
I'm good.
we got some pretty good seats too. I looked it up,
Nice.
and they're like by the entrance ramp.
Oh, wow. We could be on TV.
Well, probably not. It's up a little ways, but
Oh.
it's like that by the. Anyways,
Cool.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so I'm pulling up all the information to give you guys. I should have already had this pulled up. Okay, Podcast Live is what they're calling it. This is the Comic Palooza that we go to. That we are at for the past 2 years. We've been at. It's like a comic convention. Battle Royale with Cheese. Yeah, some of our listeners who've been listening for a while have heard of that name.
Yeah, they would have had to have been listening a long while.
A long while. That was from our first episodes. We did this thing called Battle Royale with Cheese, but we're bringing it to a live show.
A deep cut.
It's like it's a deep cut. It's like they're calling it a pop culture game show with a bunch of local podcasters are going to be the teams. We're going to be sort of the hosts and oversee the event. It's going to be at a place called the Secret Group. Here in Houston, Texas. Saturday, January 25th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Woo!
So get some Red Bull or something.
Late night.
Man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be sort of like a mix of Jeopardy / debate / battle. It's going to be
Trivia.
Yeah, that's why I said Jeopardy. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Katrin's going to be doing stand-up because we all know he's the funny one.
Yes.
Oh, well, look who it is. I guess somebody's not with you. Come have a seat. My son just popped in the room. Anyway, so yeah, Saturday, January 25th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you're in the Houston area, check that out. It'll be on our Twitter, Facebook. Just check that out. Comicpalooza.com will probably have the information too. Anyways, all right. Anything else from you guys?
No.
It's a love fest.
Well, this has been episode 130 of I Am Geek. This is the way.